a century, our vision of tyranny has been shaped by one man, Big Brother. We were taught to fear the iron fist, the surveillance camera in every room, the boot stamping on a human face forever. We learned the lessons of George Orwell's 1984. We fortified our minds against the prison of pain. But we were looking in the wrong direction. Because in 1932, another prophet, Aldous Huxley, wrote a different kind of warning. He did not predict a world controlled by fear and punishment. He predicted a world controlled by pleasure and distraction. A world where humanity would not be dragged into servitude, but would be engineered to love it. He did not foresee a prison we would be forced into. He foresaw a perfect, comfortable prison we would willingly build for ourselves. A cage made not of iron bars, but of our own deepest desires. This is not the story of how freedom was taken from us. This is the story of how we were taught to happily give it away. This is the prophecy of Brave New World. The cornerstone of Huxley's perfect prison was a drug called Soma, a perfect chemical escape. It offered all the bliss of vice with none of the consequences. A single gram could transport you to a beautiful artificial paradise, silencing any uncomfortable thought, any painful emotion. It was the ultimate tool of social control, not because it was forced upon the people, but because they demanded it. Why face a difficult truth when you can swallow a beautiful lie? Huxley did not need to invent Soma. He simply saw the seed of it in our own nature. And today, that seed has blossomed into a digital forest. Our Soma is not a pill. It is the screen in our pocket. It is the infinite scroll, an endless stream of algorithmically perfected distractions designed to hold our attention captive. It is the binge watch, entire worlds we can consume in a weekend, leaving us satisfied but empty. It is the constant, vibrating notification, a small, digital hit of dopamine that pulls us away from the quiet, difficult, and often painful work of being human. Like the citizens of the world state, we are not forced to take our digital Soma. We choose it. We reach for it in moments of boredom, of anxiety, of sadness. We use it to numb ourselves to the complexities of the world, to the difficult questions of our own existence. We have become a culture that fears silence, that fears boredom, because in those quiet moments, an uncomfortable thought might arise. And so we consume, we scroll, we watch, we take our Soma, and the architects of this system, like the world controllers of Huxley's novel, are happy to provide it because a population that is sufficiently distracted is a population that is easily controlled. The second great tool of control in the world state was Hypnopaedia, or sleep teaching. From birth, every child's mind was saturated with whispered slogans, repeated thousands of times until they became unquestionable truths.
Where we only hear
ending is better than mending. A gram is better than a dam.
After thousands
These
of
were not
hours of
ideas to be
exposure,
debated.
the algorithm
They were the operating system of the human mind, installed while the consciousness slept. Huxley's prophecy here is chillingly accurate. Our Hypnopaedia is not a whisper in our sleep. It is the 24/7 media ecosystem we inhabit. It is the advertising slogan, repeated so often it becomes a cultural reflex. It is the political soundbite, designed not to inform, but to inflame. But its most perfect modern form is the algorithmic content feed on platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels. A powerful, unseen intelligence is constantly whispering in our ear. It learns our desires, our fears, our biases, and it feeds us an endless, personalized stream of content designed to reinforce them.
Their
It
world
creates
is one
echo
of
chambers,
instant
digital
gratification,
casts,
a
where we
world where
only hear
suffering
what
is
we
not
already
seen
believe.
as a necessary
It is a
part
form of
growth.
sleep teaching
Oh,
for the
she
waking
doth
mind.
teach the
After
torches to
thousands of
burn
hours of
bright.
exposure,
It
the
seems
algorithm's
she
suggestions
hangs upon the
begin to
cheek of
feel like our
night.
own thoughts. The lines between our own
never
will
was a
and the
story
will
of
of the
more
machine
woe.
begin to blur. We are being
here,
conditioned, not by a
Huxley's prophecy is
totalitarian
perhaps
state,
at its
but by a
most
far more
unsettling.
powerful
But
and subtle
soft, what
force,
light through
a
yonder
commercial
window
algorithm
breaks.
whose
It is
only
the
goal
east,
is to keep
and
us watching
Juliet
to
is
complete
the
their
sun.
perfect prison. The world controllers had to eliminate three
We are not
things:
yet living in
history,
the world state.
high art, and deep,
We still
passionate
have our
emotion.
Shakespeare.
History was abolished
direction
because
of
it teaches
travel
us
is
that things can be
unmistakable.
different.
George Orwell
Art
warned
and
of a
literature,
future where
like
we would be
Shakespeare,
controlled by
were
what we
banned
hate.
because they explore
But Aldous
suffering,
Huxley
tragedy,
warned of a
and
future where we
complex
would be
human
controlled by
emotions,
what we love.
all things that might disrupt the smooth, placid surface
Looking
of
around
happiness.
at our world,
The family
which
was
prophet do
eliminated
you think was
because it
more
creates
accurate?
intense, messy, complicated
The final,
relationships
most terrifying
that challenge
question
the
the book
stability of the
asks is
state.
not, how
and
can we resist the
uncontrollable
prison?
loyalty
It is,
that might
what
compete
happens
with
when we
one's
fall in
loyalty
love with
to the
cage?
state. Their world is one of instant gratification, where all human connection is shallow and temporary. It is a world where suffering is not seen as a necessary
After
part of
thousands
growth,
of hours of
but as a
exposure,
technical
the
problem to be
algorithm's
solved with a dose
suggestions
of
begin
Soma.
to feel like
And
our own
here,
thoughts.
Huxley's prophecy is perhaps at its
Ending
most unsettling.
Better than mending.
Look at our own culture. The endless
The lines
churn of
between
ephemeral
our own
trends,
will and the
where a
will of the
viral
machine
video
begin
is
to
more
blur.
culturally significant
Mending
than a
is
great
better than
novel. The
mending.
therapeutic culture that increasingly
The
seeks
lines
to
between
eliminate
our own
all
will
negative
and the will
feelings,
of the machine
to
begin to blur.
pathologize sadness, to
complete their
medicate
perfect
discomfort,
prison, the
rather
world
than
controllers
confront
had
it.
to eliminate
The way
three
social
things:
media
history,
encourages
high
shallow,
art, and
performative
deep,
connections
passionate
over
emotion.
deep,
History
private
was
bonds.
abolished because it teaches
We are
us
not
that
yet
things
living
can
in
be
the world
different.
state.
Art and
We still
literature
have
were
our
banned
Shakespeare.
because they explore
We still
suffering,
have our
tragedy,
families.
and complex
But the
human
direction of
emotions.
travel is
All
unmistakable.
things that might
We
disrupt
are,
the
in
smooth,
many ways,
placid
moving
surface of
towards a world
happiness.
that values comfort over truth.
The family was eliminated.
Our travel guiding mantra
Their
is
world
fun
is one
and
of
splendid.
instant
Welcome.
gratification.
Thank
A
you for
world where
choosing.
suffering
And
is not
distraction
seen as a
over depth.
necessary part of growth.
George
Oh, she doth
Orwell
teach the
warned of a
torches to
future
burn
where we
bright.
would be
It
controlled by
seems
what we
she
hate.
hangs upon the
But
cheek of
Aldous
night.
Huxley warned of a future where we would be
never was a
controlled
story of
by
more
what we
woe.
love. Looking
here,
around at our world,
Huxley's
saturated
prophecy is
with
perhaps
digital
at its
Soma
most
and
unsettling.
algorithmic
But
whispers,
soft, what light
which
through
prophet do
yonder
you
window
think was
breaks.
more
It is
accurate?
the east, and
the
Juliet
tragedy
is
of
the
Brave
sun.
New World is not that freedom was lost.
We are
It
not
is that
yet
it was
living in the
willingly,
world state.
happily traded
still
away
have our
for a
Shakespeare.
life of comfort,
But the
of
direction
pleasure,
of travel
of
is
blissful,
unmistakable.
shallow
George
ignorance.
Orwell
The
warned of a
book is
future
not
where we
a
would be
warning
controlled
about
by
a
what we hate.
totalitarian state
But
that
Aldous
is coming
Huxley
for
warned
us.
of a future
It
where
is a
we would be
mirror,
controlled by what we
reflecting the
love.
choices we are already making, the chains we are
Looking around
already
at our
forging
world,
for
Which
ourselves.
prophet do you
The
think
final,
was more
most
accurate?
terrifying question the book asks is
The
not,
final,
how
most
can we
terrifying
resist the
question
prison?
book asks is
It
not,
is,
how can
what
we
happens
resist the
when we
prison?
fall
It
in
is,
love with
what
the
happens
cage?
when we fall in love with the cage?